It truly was a fairy tale relationship and a whirlwind one at that. You met on the subway when he showed chivalry after another man was being unkind toward you. The two of you met the next day at the local coffee shop, and he told you how much you reminded him of his mother with your green eyes and light brown hair. He also commended you on how you took charge of the situation the prior day and held your ground against the would-be assailant. Again, something that his mother would have done. The romance went quickly, and within 2 months you were married. Looking back, you now realize that you didn't spend sufficient time with his family prior to saying, "I do." You were so enthralled by his kind and gentle demeanor that you missed the underlying signs that something wasn't exactly right with his own life. Within a couple weeks of marriage, the bull entered the picture in full force. You had invited his mother over to celebrate Mother's Day, but the event would be more appropriately termed Monsters Day. It didn't take her 5 minutes following arrival to take command of her first lieutenant, your husband, and take charge of the new battlefield. If you could only find a bunker to hide from the surprise attack. Your husband immediately turned on you, followed her commands to a T, and offered no assistance to you in dealing with this commander-in-chief. She gave you grief regarding how you dressed, your makeup, hairstyling, and how you carried yourself. These atrocities by you were only the beginning. She addressed how your home was to be cleaned, the rearrangement of the furniture needed, and her distaste for how the meal was prepared. You looked over to your husband, that guardian angel to you just a few months prior, and his eyes were glazed over with puppy dog focus on his mother. You thought to yourself, "Is it time for war with this monster-in-law?" On subsequently seeking the Stoicess' help, you realized you married a mama's boy. Such is a bond where the mother has a tight fist grip on her son to the point that the son cannot perform independently of her commands. It's a bond that the son cannot break, for he has been trained to be mama's puppy dog since his childhood. Try as he may, your husband may never experience true love for another. And what caused this unpleasant event to unfold? The father died early, a few years after they married, and his mama made it clear to you on this unpleasant Mother's Day that she wasn't going to lose her man. Thus, in her words, to share her son with you would come at a high price with complete obedience from you to her. You will do as you are told, take the heat she gives, and correct your path when instructed to do so. You think to yourself, "That's not happening." Using your training, you politely excuse yourself from the table and go for a walk outside around the block. It wasn't long before your husband came running up to you asking what happened, as if he had awakened from a hypnotized state. You tell him that his mother's behavior is unacceptable and that you will show her respect, but a second puppy dog for her kennel you will not be. Neither will you participate in an ongoing war to see who wins the prize of owning her son, for you have no desire to own another. Instead, you want to be loved by another as that person reciprocates their love towards you. It's freedom of choice in your book. As he begins to defend his mother's position, you politely lift your hand, indicating for him to stop. You tell him that until the mother-in-law acts with civility toward her daughter-in-law, you will not interact with his mother, for your mental peace will not be disturbed, because in the current situation, he has married a woman that is just as strong as his mother. And as your husband, he has his own choices to make regarding his marriage, and you will pray for God's guidance for all three of you. But moving forward, tough love from you, it will now be. Now, using my Stoic storytelling method, my partner's family gangs up on me. Should I give it back to them? The most contemptuous form of revenge is not to deem one's adversary worth taking vengeance upon. That man is great and noble who, like a large wild animal, hears unmoved the tiny curs that bark at him. Seneca. Don't retaliate with insults when people insult you. Book of 1 Peter. I will ignore these individuals until they begin to act with civility toward me. I realize I should not get involved with those who attempt to disturb my mental peace. The character trait I improved was ignoring the noise created by others, such noise to get my attention so they can attempt a subsequent entanglement with me. Thank you for sharing your mind with me. For your continued success, hear my secret. When you learn you have a mama's boy, hold your ground and don't become mama's second toy. Now relax, control your mind, and be as you wish to seem, empowered. Remember, it's the situation keeping my connection with him. I'm Lori Stiff, the Stoicess, and I believe in you. If you like what you mentally now see, join my website to learn and think like me at stoicmatchmaker.com.